Happy Monday, everyone. It is time to move on with this sign. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. We did. We got lots of things going on, so I want to really get a lot more done on this sign today. So we're going to spray it, sand it off, get a finish on it, and get this thing done in the next video or two. So I took my stiff bristle brush, made sure there's no sawdust or little chips down inside, blew it out real good. I took my little hand carving tool, made sure that there's no high spots so that when I sand it, we won't end up with any white spots. So now what I'm going to do, since we're doing several different colors, I'm going to mask off this whole square, because the letters are going to be black, the edge is going to be black, but everything inside this background square is going to be red. So I want to mask that off. Make sure we don't get any black down in there. Then I'm going to come around the other end of the bench, the other side of the bench, and start spraying some black. And I don't really like this stuff on my hands, and we got some of these vinyl gloves, so I'm going to put some gloves on. All right, so I'm going to use, for the black, I'm going to use the primer. This is our flat black primer. Remember, I don't use the primer slash paint, just the primer. And it seems to work really well. So I brushed this thing off really good. So we're just going to spray this. I'm not too concerned with the bleeding, but I'm going to spray it nice and light anyway, just to make sure. We're actually working on the patio in the rain. It's actually raining today.
The sticky flies.
Yeah, it's really humid. All right. Again, if you guys have been watching, unless you're brand new, you know that I use real short spurts. One of the worst things you can do is overspray, especially if you've got any pine involved, and half of this sign is pine. So I'm going to spray it there. I'm going to turn it upside down and just hit a couple more spots. And that's it. Now we're going to let that dry for a few minutes, and we'll take that blue tape off of there and spray that thing red. Be right back. Okay, so now I'm using the red ink. So this is the Marsh red stencil ink that I use. Almost always when I'm using colors, I'm going to use the Marsh ink. Well, that's interesting, the way the pattern kind of comes through there.
Good. I like that.
I didn't think that would, but that's interesting. I like that. Anyway, all right, so now we sprayed that. Obviously I masked everything off so I didn't get any red on the black. I did that off camera. So we'll let that dry. We'll come back and we'll sand it off. All right, it's all dry. Let's sand it off. Okay, so that was my 50 grit. Now we're gonna change over to the, I think it's a 120 grit on my little Porter cable. All right, let's see what it looks like. Here's the reveal. Ready? We still did get a few high spots in there, but we'll fix those. We'll come right back and fix those. Okay, so I want to go over a couple of real quick tips, guys. See these, I don't know if you can see these on the camera, babe, but see these little tiny, I call them little feathers, just little tiny burrs on there that happens when you're sanding sometimes, depending on the grain. I don't like to leave those on there. I like to use a real soft, this is kind of a little shoe shine brush. I like to use that to get that off. But first thing I do is I make sure that I've got no sawdust in here, because if I grind sawdust down in there with the soft bristle, it will dull that color. I first make sure that there's nothing there. Now what I do is I blow air as I'm actually brushing. That ensures that none of that sawdust that I brush off of there gets rubbed down in that black. So now, let's fix those little high spots. In some cases, you could just use a Sharpie and fix this with a Sharpie, but in this case, this is another way to do it. I'm just going to use the black that I used, spray it on a little paper plate, and then I'm just going to use a brush and I'll touch those up with a brush. That way you absolutely make sure that you've got a good color match and you don't have an odd looking spot. Did I get them all? Looks like I got them all. Except I didn't bring an extra brush out here. Would you go grab a brush? Thank you, babe. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use a different brush. We'll have to clean this with acid, or actually have to clean that. Clean that with paint thinner, because this stuff cleans up with paint thinner if you're using layout letters, just as another tip. But this stuff you have to use gasoline or gunk, the engine degreaser, to clean that up, or naphtha. Naphtha does it as well. So now I'm going to use a different brush. Just spray a little red in there.
Nope.
Oh, wrong brush. See, you're paying attention. So now I'm just going to touch up these little high spots. They really wouldn't show up very much, but I know they're there. You see any more? I don't know, I think I got them.
Light right in here.
I think I got them. I think I got them. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to actually paint this white. So we'll be right back. All right, so all we're going to do here is just paint this little triangle. We're going to paint it white. So we're using like normal, we're using the one shot automotive paint. I've showed it before, but I'll show the can again here before I finish up. So this stuff, I really like this stuff. It's not the cheapest, but it covers really well. It floats.
Lasts a long time though.
Yeah, it does last a long time. It goes a long ways. It covers really well, and it, generally speaking, it only takes one coat. Sometimes this might take 2 coats. I don't know. We'll see. But generally speaking, it only takes 1 coat. So then we'll get this painted, and then we'll come back and use the critter sprayer and get some finish on this. I'm really excited to see how that redwood and that pine jump out with a finish on it. That's my second favorite part. The reveal is really my favorite part, but so I got a comment on the video the other day from Peter. So Peter, I hope you're watching. again, thanks so much for the opportunity. I'm having, this sign is a little on the challenging side, but I'm having fun. I'm really enjoying it. So I think that will all flow out and be even. So that is it for right now, you guys. We'll be back in the morning. Let this set overnight, and we'll be back in the morning. I think that'll all flow out. Oh, here's that one shot. Here's what that one shot looks like. Gosh, I hope I don't spill this over the top of that red. That would be a disaster. Anyway, that's the one shot that I use. It works really, really well. And it wasn't my idea. Somebody turned me on to it. So anyway, then we will, was I looking down? You see it on top of my hat. So we'll be back in the morning. We'll use the critter sprayer, and we'll see what this looks like with a finish on it. I'm really looking forward to that. So we'll be right back. All right, you guys, it is the next morning. We are getting ready to spray our finish on this. So I'm going to use the ZAR exterior water-based polyurethane, and I'm going to use my critter gun. You guys know that's pretty much the way, my favorite way to apply finish. So what I'm going to do a little bit different than what I normally do. I'm going to actually spray the back first, then I'm going to flip it over, spray the front. Then we're going to do the edges at the end. Normally I do it the other way, but I think I want to try this and see how it works. So looks like we got finish flowing. So here's my critter gun. Let's see what happens here. We have sound, right? Okay. We didn't talk about that before I started. So I'm probably going to end up putting 3 or 4 coats on this, depending on how much it soaks in. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, I like that. Really brings out that redwood. All right, so there is the first coat. So that'll probably be dry in a few hours. I'll put a second coat on. What I'll do is I'll take some real fine sandpaper once this is dry, and I'll just kind of take off the high spots, the roughness, because this stuff causes the grain to stand up. So the next step on the next video. You guys, right now, you're going to see Vicki and I's first video on our resin challenge. We're going to tack that on to the end of this video. But I've already made my little face frame. This is going to go right over there, and then we're going to put the LED lights underneath there. But I'll show that process. But all I used here was actually some 3/4 inch pine. I ripped down to 1/2 inch, and then I made a face frame for the front of it. And I think it's going to work out really well. But you'll see that on Wednesday's video. So hope you guys like this. Thanks for stopping by. So right now we're going to come up and we're going to show you Vicki and I's challenge. See. Okay, change of plans, guys. We were going to show the beginning of our challenge at the end of this because we went inside and we filmed it inside, but it turned out to be like a 1/2 hour long. So that's way too much to tack on to the end of what we've already done on this video. So we're going to have a unique different Thursday video. So tomorrow I'm going to put that all video together. It's like over 30 minutes. I might cut a little bit out of there, but I hope it doesn't bore the heck out of you guys. But a couple of things you might want to pay attention to that were kind of weird. So at one point, about halfway through, I start talking about looking for the sticks. There's a cup of sticks, and Vicki and I are scouring the whole. This will tell you what our mindset was. We're scouring the whole studio looking for this cup of sticks, and it literally was right in front of us. And Vicki caught it as we go on. She caught it that we were looking for all these sticks, this cup of sticks, and it was right in front of us the whole time. So we were kind of under the gun, and we were just in the middle of pouring. And then the other thing is I moved that cup at one point in front of my project, not even thinking about the camera. So I apologize. I did finally move it out of the way, so you guys do get to see what our projects are. But anyway, we had a lot of fun with it. You want to probably, the volume might be a little bit low, so you might want to turn it up because it seemed like I was whispering at one point, but there's some pretty good interactions between me and Vic. So I'm hoping you guys like it. So video tomorrow, and then a video again on Friday. So
Special edition.
yeah, special edition, special Thursday challenge edition. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love for you to subscribe. And oh, by the way, one more time, thank you so much to all of you that support us. You know, once in a while we get people ask us where we get our router bits and our supplies and stuff. And for those of you that don't know, the Make a Wood Sign website, we actually sell our supplies on there, and that's what keeps us going. So thank you so much to everybody that watches and you guys that buy the router bits and the layout templates. But if you have any questions, obviously, Eric at makeawoodsign.com or Vicki with Dave Signs at gmail.com. Thanks so much, guys. Hope you like it, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.